welcome to ATI Pro Media. We are powered by Advanced Trading. We've got Tommy Grisafi coming to us from Nashville. He's still hosting RFD TV, and we've had an interesting week, right? Monday we started off. Was it going to be a Black Monday, right? That was the talk. Recession fears, emergency rate cut. It feels like those fears have at least been pushed out, right? We had a great day on the S&P and the NASDAQ yesterday. Best day we've seen since 2022. We've got a USDA report out Monday, right? All eyes are going to be on that. What are they going to do with yield? Are they going to adjust production? Tommy and I think, are going to be talking a lot about that. And the other one, we haven't talked about it yet, but we got to make sure we have our CONAB report. It's the day after. Make sure we have that on our radar as well. So going to be a quick show. We're going to give you the points and then get out of here because we got our jobs to do. Let's bring them in. Tommy, how are we doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everyone. Coming to you live from RFD TV Studios, Music City, Nashville. I almost said Nashville, North Dakota.
It's good to see you. I've been here. There's reports, right? I've been telling everyone you've been working hard, but they're like, well, he's on Music Row. Is he trying to get his own record label? And I said, no. He's got to learn to play guitar first.
Speaking of record label, I'll tell you a story, though. I took an Uber from the hotel over here, and I met a young man, and I asked him what he did, and he was involved in music, and he writes his own music, and we had a nice conversation. He's on Spotify, and I told him about our live stream and stuff, and it was fun. It was just interesting to see someone who writes music, creates music, edits music, and then he has to drive an Uber because that's what you get paid to be in the music business. So we can't all be Taylor Swift. Speaking of Taylor Swift, did you hear? It's T Swift Friday. Did you hear T Swift had concerts canceled?
I did, yeah, because of potential terrorist threats, right? There was a big concern. What country was
Don't
it in?
Don't say that word twice on this show. We'll get shadow banned.
Was it in Vienna?
There were some people wanting to be naughty. No, Austria? Australia, mate. Austria. I think it was Austria.
Vienna's in Austria. If you want a quick geography.
Yeah, there was all types of people who flew all over from the world to get there. I got to tell you something. It's a true story. I guess if you fly to Austria, they have a desk there for the people who at an airport, at the international airport in Austria, they have a desk there for the people who meant to go to Australia. There's literally a help desk. I kid you not, folks. We got some serious stuff to cover here, but there's a help desk at the international airport in Austria that for the people who meant to go to Australia. And I can't help but think about Jim Carrey in the movie Dumb and Dumber with that tooth. Speaking of Dumb and Dumber, we've got through the important stuff. Let's get to the quotes. I'll quote it up, Rick. Take me to LaSalle Street, sir. All right, there we go. Let's look what we have. Show us what we have here. Corn. Decent corn down 1.5, $3.95 last. Wheat, Board of Trade wheat, KC wheat, Minneapolis wheat. Ring the bell. Big old clapping for them. Those boys are up 11 to 12 across the board there. I like to see that hard red spring wheat starting real strong over there in North Dakota, and so any rally will be appreciated. Looking at soybeans here, no soybeans up 1. Let's take it to the meat sector. Looking at live cattle up 50 in August. Feeder cattle flying around in my quotes here, up 225 in the Augie feeders. 10-year notes up means interest rates are calming. If I had to guess, that 10-year yield's probably right around 4%, 3.98. Massive. Take me to Wall Street, Mr. Rick. Massive rally yesterday on Wall Street. I think the Dow Jones was close to up 700 last night after hours. I sold Dow Jones up another 80 from there, and the S&P. We're having incredible volatility. Today on Cow Guy Close, I'll be talking about if you went on vacation and you didn't know what the markets did today, the Dow Jones is only down like 100 on the week, and S&Ps right now are down 30 from last Friday's close. So although we did have a bad last Thursday, Friday, if you're a long-term investor, nothing happened this week, but boy, was there billions, if not trillions, of money flying around Thursday, Friday, Monday, and of course every day. But here in the commodity world, the stock market's really been interesting. It's not affecting corn price, full disclaimer. All right, Dow Jones down 50, S&P down 5, NASDAQ down 40. Those were all up overnight. Taking a look, as we said, bond markets are up, 30-year bond up a point. That means interest rates are down. Looking at, I just want to get you a gold and silver quote. having a hard time looking at my phone here. Gold up a couple dollars, silver down a little bit. Pretty quiet day overall. I think most people are involved in markets are just ready to be over with it. So, what do you have for headlines? I didn't know I was going to be on, but I guess Brady's got a rough voice. Speaking of Brady, I was out for supper last night, and I met someone who not only knows Brady Huck, but he buys cattle from Brady Huck's family in Small World.
Yeah.
Really small world. Isn't that cool?
That's super small world. Yeah. Brady tried to be on, but the poor guy's completely lost his voice. So we'll hear
And
from him.
just real quick, big
next
shout
week.
out to Buster. That was his name, Buster.
Buster.
Coon. Yeah, can't make this up. This is live
That's a
TV,
cowboy
baby.
name.
Speaking of live TV, you know who has two thumbs going to be on this afternoon?
Who's that?
Connor B going to be on the
Let's
Cow
do
Guy
it.
Close. Did you
Let's
see
do
that
it.
debacle on the Cow Guy Close yesterday? My guy on the B block didn't show up, so I did A block and then B block, and they're
I
like,
didn't
"Hey,
even.
well, I
Yeah.
remember I was there when someone's
Well,
talking." Yes, sir.
You did it. You did a good job. I wouldn't even
Oh,
know there was a debacle.
I can go, baby. Just wind me up, girl. Yeah, no problem. But they're telling me in my ear, you don't have a second guest. I'm like, all right. And so I wrote the script in my head in about 15 seconds, and I talked really slow. So, but once I got revved up, oh, Buster's a real cowboy. Well, Brady's voice might not work, but his fingers are working. All right. I had no clue I was going to be on today. I'm in a doggone good mood. I'm in Nashville. I'm going to be hosting RFD TV. My co-host Connor's going to be on. We rotate between Connor and Brady, and I got to tell you guys, they do a really good job. So go through the headlines. We'll get a couple questions, and I got to get the heck out of here because I got to write monologues. Speaking of monologues, for any of you out there who have any problems writing, spelling, or anything else, I bought Grammarly with AI. And so I say my monologues in the phone. I used to send them to Ryan Fogel, and he'd write this beauty of a thing. He's a really great writer, but I can't always count on him to do my job for me. And so I say my monologue in the phone. I text it to myself. I run it through Grammarly AI, and I pay for it. And you know how we do our shorts, and it gives us a rating, 70, 80, 92%. That'll be a good short. Grammarly does this. And I wait till Grammarly gets them at like 96, 97%, and then I send them. And they're better than anything I could ever do for sure. That's how AI is actually helping someone like me do my job. So you don't have to be smart anymore. You could just be, anyone. Yeah. So it just shows anyone could do this. It's easy, isn't it, Connor? Isn't it just easy to go on live TV?
Sure.
With no host?
Yeah.
I wasn't
nervous at all the first time we did it.
Right.
Tony gave you a nice shout out. You did a great job.
Yeah.
Tony.
She noticed that happen. Yeah. She goes, you didn't have a second guest. And I go, no, I did. I interviewed myself. Got an argument with myself. It was amazing.
That's great. Let's jump in the headlines. The first one, you touched on it on stock market, S&P, NASDAQ. S&P had the best day since 2022, up something close to 3%. And so it's amazing Friday to Monday how we
say that one more time. The S&P, I like that.
S&P 500 had the best day since 2022. I think it was up 2.8%. Let me.
It's up about 3%, I think. It was a doozy.
S&P advanced 2.3% in the previous session. So
I like it.
And it's really next headline. When we're talking, we were talking about recession fears. Isn't it funny, Tom, when you were on Twitter and any of these chat groups, my own brother texted me about, hey, is this a good time to buy if the stock market's pulling back? Right. If that's the sentiment, I remember that back in 2020 when we saw COVID hit, stock market pulled back huge, right? Remember our VIX chart we've been pulling up this week and it spiked. But that was still the sentiment is this a good buying opportunity? Until that sentiment changed, it'd be interesting to see when we see a recession. But anyway, moving right along, we had some flash sales, Tommy. 132,000 metric tons to China for 24-25, 100,000 soybean meal to Colombia, and 212,000 metric tons soybeans to unknown destinations. So good sales for a Friday. We got beans up right now also. So we'll take it, right? But when we're talking soybean exports, we need a little bit more, right? We need those flash sales to keep coming, and we need that demand to pick up because as of right now, China especially is lagging behind.
Yeah, it's interesting. I got to tell you, to add to your point in color, these people go on TV shows, whether it's me or anyone. I mean, we're all kind of part of the same Twitter sphere, internet sphere. But if you were on Monday saying the world's ending, you gotta have a full blown jackass alert by Friday, because how do you go? You know, those are the same people trying to delete their tweets of bad mouthing Kamala Harris 2 years ago. Right now, all of a sudden they're deleting everything. I mean, you got to be careful what you say. It's
Right.
out there forever. It's like the toothpaste, baby. Once it goes out, it ain't going back in the tube.
You
Back to
better
you.
be ready. You better be ready to own it if you're putting it on the internet. That's my opinion. Can't stand the marketing guys that put out some tweet recommendations and delete the ones that don't work. But anyway, and so Tommy, the big talk, we're talking about it on Cow Guy. It's been our focus this week, right? Are we squaring away before the USDA report that gets released on Monday? Okay. And so it's going to be, in terms of USDA reports, historical, we got March acreage is a big one. January, that final yield number that we'll see. But this is a big one too. This is the one where they're not going to use trend line yields, right? We have potential to really adjust it. The trade seems pretty confident we're going to hold that 181 or potentially a little bit better. So we could see some acreage changes, right? We could see Brazil and Argentina. We could see them change those numbers. But sentiment sure feels like the crop is really good. It's just waiting. What's the USDA going to tell us? How good is it? And so we'll see that. We're going to talk a lot about that, but make sure it's on your radar, right? Make sure if we have not been hedgers this year, right? I think now's the time. If we think we have really good crops, as I think we do in Central Illinois, let's make sure we're a hedger of this market, especially for the bushels that are moving in 60 days. That's going to be my message to customers this week, Tommy.
Mm-hmm. Keep going. Keep talking. I promise I won't interrupt. I think there was a announcement out of Cargill yesterday and about a trading desk. But keep talking. Talk about what we did on Premium yesterday. I just want to search this headline on Cargill. What else do you have for headlines?
Yeah. What else we got, Rick? I think it's the other one I have, right? USDA report is going to be the main focus, but the other thing, CONAB, right, is going to be Brazil's reporting. Comes out the next day. And so that's going to be that. It's been a fascinating story if you're involved in grain markets about the difference between what Brazil says they have for corn and beans and what the U.S. says Brazil has for corn and beans. Big discrepancy. We've seen it coming together. It's going to be interesting to see. Is Brazil going to raise their numbers again and get closer to the USDA? Time will tell there, and make sure we'll be watching that as well. And so USDA report, right? Well, I think we're going live as long as it works out. And then we have the experts, Brian Basti, Michael Reginelli. Who's the third one, Rick? Brian Basti, Michael Reginelli, and Nate DeRocco are gonna go live and give us the breakdown. We'll talk about that Monday. And so with that, you found your headline for Cargill?
I did. Yes, I did. Yeah, I was out to dinner with some folks last night when I was out with Buster, and they were talking about this. I'm just going to read it. We can send it to clients, ATI Pro Media Premium, our own clients, whatever. Exclusive Cargill internal memo describes structural overhaul to streamline company. Just Google Cargill and you'll see that. Looks like they're condensing some trading desk. Probably do a little deep dive in that a little bit more. I mean, I don't know. I don't work at Cargill. But I was out to dinner with folks last night who did work at Cargill, and they didn't even know about the headline. So, but they were like, "Oh, things are changing over there." Cargill, no comment. Just things are changing. That's my only comment. That.
Yep.
Hey, speaking of questions, comments, let's get them. Let's hop.
Yeah. You want to talk premium real quick?
Yeah. Premium. I've been swamped down here in Nashville, but not everyone is able to subscribe to RFD TV. So we're just sending you what I did with Adam Johnson. He talked interest rates and elections. Myself, that's when I had to go solo. I talked about Recession Island. Hold on, don't buy your piece of land there at Recession Island. Dr. Carol Swain, she's not afraid to put it out there. That's all I could say, folks. You watch that. I ain't going to tell you what we talked about. But she is not afraid to put it out there in her opinion. So Dr. Carol Swain, if you don't know who she is, you should Google her. She's got quite a story. But yeah, she's a fascinating woman. Dr. Carol Swain. And yeah. Oh boy, Lions and Tigers ring the bell.
Hey, I didn't know that. Good deal.
Yeah, we're at like 15.5, 15.6. Some of them are real, some of them are robots. That's just the subscribers are there's probably one real subscriber, that's the red one, and the gray ones are the robots. But no,
can't say that.
We get your questions and comments. If you email us info@ATI Pro Media, we get it immediately. If you call us, we get it immediately. We have the ability to text I think we're going to switch up that number here pretty soon, boys, because we're going to switch it to a text number. So you can text us live during the show. That might work better because you can't text an 855 number. But we got people asking questions. Sometimes people want to text you something, but they don't want it popping up on the screen, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll have that. We're going to start that Monday. Ashley, yeah. Australia, one of them, yeah.
Teach Tommy J.
Google.
He didn't say this. You know how he knows about that desk? It's because he had to execute it, right? He was going to visit Sydney. He ended up in Salzburg.
Oh, it happens all the time. Yeah. So news headlines from the top. T-Swift concert canceled. USDA report Monday. Corn and beans hit all 4-year lows yesterday, I believe.
And I think beans are bouncing slightly. Corn, we got D's corn at $3.95.5, Tommy.
Yeah. Full disclaimer: if you're an advanced trading client, there's a really good chance you own puts and you have been rolling them down, extracting money out of those puts. Unfortunately, it's because the market's going down. Don't call us and thank us. You bought insurance and the insurance policy hit. No one ever calls State Farm and says, "I'm glad I wrecked my car." They just say, "I'm glad I insured my car that I wrecked." So in some ways, that's what we do. We sell insurance. And if you're out there, you're an advanced trading broker and you think you do something else, best of luck to you. I think you sell insurance. What do you do for a living, Connor?
Yeah, I'm a commodity broker. We do ATI Pro Media. And we're making sure I'm a risk manager, Tommy. And so how do we do
like
that?
The way that sounds. I like that, a risk manager. Well, listen, life is kind of risky, right? I mean, there's a lot of risk. And as always, amazed by people who are afraid to fly, but then they drive down the Dan Ryan 90 miles an hour with a bunch of uninsured motorists around them. I think that's risky too. So yes, there is risk and we'd like to manage it. Speaking of risk, on today's Cow Guy, you're going to be talking about how to get in control of 2024, and then you're going to start talking about 2025. We have all that to do in 4 minutes on the Cow Guy. There'll be a lot less joking, but I am getting so much more comfortable sitting in that seat. And now that I control the teleprompter, I read the teleprompter better because I'm the one hitting the teleprompter, and it's coming together. I write the monologue. I control the teleprompter. I have a dear friend of mine whose daughter's getting married today. I couldn't make it to the wedding, but I'm be able to thank him on live TV. So it's fun. It's fun to work with you and the whole ATI crew. Don't miss out on Monday. Advanced Trading is putting out really good content. Some of it's free. Some of it we ask you to pay. $30 a month, $1 a day. We'd love to have some new subscribers, and if you keep subscribing, listening, we'll keep putting out content like this. Kind of wrap it up.
We got one more question. Pop that one up. It was a good one from Luke. U.S. co-op CHS putting money into a Brazilian export terminal. Doesn't seem very helpful to the American farmers putting money into CHS. Luke, that's a fair comment. One thing I'd say is if we look at all the ABCDs, right, you can make the argument that CHS is a little late to the party, right? ADM's down there, Cargill's down there. I think Bunge's down there. I can't confirm that. Mm-hmm. So they're all down there, right? They're going to go where the money is.
Don't forget about Buckeye Farmer. He's got to get a hold of us so we can get that to him. We have access to that information. Go ahead and read his question one more time and tell him you'll get that to him.
I don't have it. Give me a second. I don't have it in front of me.
Was it the basis information?
He was talking. What did he say? He mentioned where he is in Southern Ohio. Drought map. They're still a little dry, which is unfortunate. And then he wanted us to pop up a basis map, right? For him, he was thinking about trucking corn into the Carolinas, right, where they're having production issues. He thought it made sense. So we'll get you something like that and look at that.
Pop that up on Monday's show.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see where the grain needs to flow, right, and goes from there. So yeah, good comment. We'll get that to you, Buckeye Farmer. So
wrap it up, kid. I'll hit close.
Yep. With that, make sure to tune into Cow Guy, right? Tommy will be doing it. I'll be jumping on in the C block at the end. And then Monday's going to be that big USDA report. Go, Tommy.
Connor B, I love you. You're on the B block. You are on the B. Yeah, okay. So be ready at 1:09. We're going to call you. Sorry to interrupt. I've never interrupted you ever on this show.
Not
I
once.
Feel so rude.
Not once. And so that's all I got. Everyone have a good week. We'll see what next week brings with CONEB Report and USDA. Have a good week.
See you, bud.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.